Science is more than a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we're up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes ambling along.
I'm a skeptical robot.
Yeah 猫のグミグレープゼリーみたいな毛並みマイクとハイライトをかき捨ててリンクサイドに座る技を指示する帽子に指輪が入ってるよドラップキスプレックスマットはどこ紫猫の髪彼にはキッズの命と秘密のダジャレがあるレスリングのカオス彼こそがそれだエルボードロー彼にはジョークがある彼は解説の王者だボディスラムと紫のフレア神の声がどこにでも響く
Hello, everybody. I did not enable my camera in time. I am an idiot. Shout out to being an idiot. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. This is going to be a fun show. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Wait, who are we tonight?
Gummy fur.
we have Gummy Fur 666 Ummy Fur. How's that? Thank you for being here,
What
Gummy.
up, all? Of course, my pleasure.
And also with us tonight is our special guest. Does this character have a name?
Dungeon Master Casey.
Dungeon Master Casey. I like it. Folks, thank you so much for being here. This is a topic that is going to be interesting because I brought on two experts to discuss it because I know nothing. I'm going to be telling a story as it applies to the Satanic Panic, but I'm going to also try to learn about this game, Dungeons and Dragons, as we go along. Thank you for being here, Casey. Appreciate it. Are you excited about the prospect of teaching me this game?
I am. I was a little upset that there was a dragon part involved. I thought we were just going to dress as wizards and fuck each other, but, you know, dragons are cool, too. I did that.
Members only video.
We can make that the show. I mean,
no, but
I
the
guess.
truth is, I grew up in a time before internet. I remember HBO and all the other TV channels coming in all at the same time. That's how little TV we had. We had Channel 2 and Channel 11 in Oregon. And I remember all these channels coming in, and that was sort of the end of D&D. But we had to play with our imaginations and our weird older neighbors who did smelly drugs in a room we couldn't go into.
And let me ask, did the discovery of girls change your habits of playing Dungeons and Dragons?
No, ejaculation was what changed that.
Fair enough.
Two totally different things. I mean, I still play D&D, and I ejaculate.
I still ejaculate. I was like, good for you.
Do both. Still do both.
Congratulations.
But D&D is now on the computer, not with your weird neighbors anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah, okay, so I'm starting from scratch here. Like, I really know nothing. I know it was a board game, and I know there's dice. That probably covers everything.
RPG tabletop role-playing game,
Please educate me, please. So I'll give you each like a couple of minutes to try to sell me on why Dungeons and Dragons is great. And like if you had to elevator sales pitch, I'll start with you, Gummy.
Sure.
Go.
Okay. So pretty much you can do whatever you want. Leave it up to your imagination and fate. Fate is pretty much decided by the dice rolls you make. But also, if you can come up with cool shit, like you can come up with any idea. Like there's infinite ways how to open up a door in Dungeons and Dragons. Just imagine it, and then you're gonna roll your die and see if it worked. So, for example, you see a door, you want to open it. You say, "Hey, it's locked. All right, I want to kick it open." So I'll tell you to do a strength roll. You roll your d20, add that to what your strength power is, and we'll see if you did it or not. So it's you do whatever you want. Honestly, the only limitations. There's two limitations, your imagination and your dice roll. And other than that, you do whatever the hell you want, and it is great.
I think this describes it well. I got hit with a confused spell. Thank you.
So I think we need to
right.
differentiate. There's two eras of D&D that I remember. Playing with your friends as a kid, sort of buying the books, learning about those characters, having like a Demigorgon attack, creating castles on grids during like home ec class instead of paying attention because you're making your castle and fuck school. So that was like one era. And then computers came along and there was bulletin board systems. And in these bulletin board systems, they had what they called, we called it MUD, but it was multi-user dungeons. Now this was you and your friends being like ninjas or paladins running around town killing people and then going off doing a quest. And the people were the people from the other town over that then drove over and wanted to fight you. Like it was your first experience outside of your little world with characters. And so MUD, multi-user dungeon, anyone that knows the bulletin board system, that was its own era of D&D. Because that was sort of like the beginning of comment sections, of interaction online. A lot of stuff I saw in the bar back in those MUD dungeons, I see in comment sections now. Because the bar was the one place you could hang out where no one could murder you. So everyone would just talk shit at each other. And the second you walk outside the bar, you'd be destroyed. It was awesome. and we get your scimitar, your black always the black scimitar. Did you play Mud, Cat?
No, everything I always played was just in person. The time where I actually moved into the internet age was, you can even say it was like a third age, like a second age of computer, was during COVID time, because that's actually how I made money. I was a dungeon master over Discord, so that was for people around the world. And
this is a
like,
board game, right? Am I wrong? This is a
No,
board
you're
game.
wrong.
You're wrong.
In the way you're
Okay.
conceptualizing it is not,
Yeah,
you sunk my battleship. No, it's not Monopoly.
Yeah, there is no board. I mean, I guess you can literally play with dice, a pencil, and a piece of paper. You don't need anything else.
Oh,
Maybe a calculator if you suck.
The rules are guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They're just like, here's how we play. Go ahead and play.
Okay.
And dice are just a way to limit, so you have some scoring ability and a way to keep track of your like hit points and leveling. That's it. And then everything else is just, sexy beer maidens and monsters.
Yes, we are going to do an online game sometime where I have sent Luigi dice, I've sent Spurg dice, and I've also sent Lemmy dice. So we are going to. You're more than welcome to join us sometime, Casey. And I actually want to DM a game, and we're gonna have chat help us roll stats.
I
Not
just
sure
rolled
why
for
we're
it.
in.
I won't be joining you. I rolled under.
Fair enough.
I do have the dice. I actually have them in reach here.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm not even going to exaggerate. I am thoroughly confused on what this is now, because I seriously thought, I thought it was like people like playing Monopoly.
How do we need to explain this to you?
But
Goddamn lawyer. How do we do this?
Yeah.
but it's okay. It's okay, because I think that, like, while we discuss the effects that the Satanic Panic had on it, you could maybe bring some of it into context for me.
Okay, Luigi, let's try this.
Okay.
Imagine as a kid, and I said imagine on your channel, which is fair. Imagine as a kid, you and your friends get together and you decide you all want to be lawyers. Ooh, won't this be fun? And you all get together.
That didn't happen.
I know, because you have none of you have imagination. Well, you can't understand the concept of a
You
fucking
didn't have
dungeon.
Jewish friends growing up.
No, but just for a second.
I wasn't allowed
think
to have
about
Jewish friends.
all your neighbor friends are like, let's be lawyers. I'll be the judge. And then you get to try whatever case you want. You get to make up whatever scenario. Mary's too fat across the street. The tree and...
I'm listening.
So you get to try those with your friends. He can be judge. You can be the executioner because we're going to convict him. You just get to make it all up on the spot. Your own little trial. That's D&D. Now just move it into a dungeon. That's it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you can score it. And that's it. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Also, people who play video games, you guys play a version of Dungeons and Dragons without even realizing it. It doesn't even need to be a fantasy game. Any game where you hit somebody and you see those numbers dealing health damage, what's going on in the background of the game, there's a dice roll, whether you hit or miss, and then the damage amount, those are actual dice rolls going on. So without even realizing it, you guys are playing it pretty much when you play most modern games.
Mario Kart has Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
feel
I'll admit,
to it with that
whenever
story.
I see on a video game description the phrase role-playing game, my mind always thinks, isn't every video game playing a role? So what is the distinction of role-playing game for Dungeons and Dragons?
He's doing a Seinfeld bit on us.
Yeah.
Isn't every game a role playing game?
I mean, but it's because you're playing a character.
Yeah,
So
okay.
how is it
So-
different?
Am I right?
Okay, so let's put it this way. You're playing Tomb Raider. You're playing as Lara Croft, who's going through tombs.
Right.
You're playing Dungeons and Dragons. You're playing Luigi the Wizard. It's you in the world instead of like you playing as a character. Does that make more sense?
Now
Okay.
I'm confused.
Carmick puts on his mask. He's the demon.
Okay. I'm listening.
So he's role playing a badass, or he's actually trying to role play a straight man the rest of his life. There you go, Caddy Z. That's the real him. When he doesn't have the hat on, he's role playing a straight man.
Okay, so a role-playing game, and I purposefully did not like Google these terms because I just really thought it'd be more interesting coming from you guys. So you're talking about not necessarily having constant action like a video game. You're living a daily life of a person. Is that right?
Well-
Is that what you just said?
My God.
You're making all of the decisions.
Yes, let's get together and do laundry. Role play. Let's go shopping for coffee. Role play. No, you go on a quest.
That's what this sounds like.
No, go on a quest to rescue a maiden or to beat a dragon or some shit like that. It's always
but you get to
there's always a goal.
But you get to choose it and like create the story, right?
Well, that's why there's a thing. Okay, so I think this concept you get, just like in our analogy with the court and the kids, there's a judge in Dungeons & Dragons, and he's called the Dungeon Master.
Okay.
Now, the Dungeon Master, that is where your game is set up. This Dungeon Master can read those books, make those squares, and follow it to the T. So you're playing basically like a monopolized version of Dungeons & Dragons. It's very, like, rigid. Like, 4 rooms, there's monsters in this room, and whatever. Or you can have a Dungeon Master that sees this is just like G, C, and A as chords on a guitar. There's a lot more chords. Maybe you go out there and play a bunch of different chords to entertain the people that you Dungeon Master for, because it really is like a performance being Dungeon Master. And you want to take your people on a good quest and have good side stories and like have random things happen to them and roll for random shit that makes it feel like day-to-day stuff. Because it's like, oh, that's fun. You just rolled for, did I get herpes at the brothel? And I did, and now I'm going to die. That's fun. I got to get healed now.
Okay.
Now you go on a side quest to go get medicine for your dungeon herpes. That's it. The game just moves and changes by that sort of stuff if you have a good dungeon master. I always give my people dungeon herpes. That was fun.
I think I'm understanding. And yes, so it is, you are creating the story around the character, not just playing the character.
I played sports too, Latanya Vegas. By the way. Honorable mention all league in a very small school, but still.
Ooh, Latanya plays sports. Oh yeah, how did that work out for you?
We probably played each other.
Love you, Latanya.
Thank you, Ding Lizard.
Dunk on it.
For the €2, the difference in RPG is the character sheet. Okay, now explain this to me, please.
Go ahead. I've spoken enough.
Okay, so I should have sent this to you. I'll send it to you. I'll send you a copy. All right. So when you make your character, there is a sheet of all your stats and all the items you own. Have you ever played a Final Fantasy game?
No.
Fuck. I was gonna say it's when you hit X and you look at your menu or any role play.
What about like Resident Evil?
Okay, that's kind of like your character sheet. That's your health, the amount of ammo you have,
dexterity, stamina, strength, wisdom, character. These are the things we grade in Dungeons and Dragons.
Intelligence. Yep.
I forgot that one.
Yeah.
I always grade pretty low in that one. Honestly.
Yeah, I can see.
I want strength over. I'll be a knight over a bard any day.
Okay.
You know, dead fool, you're not wrong, bro.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so I mean, I know we're goofing around here, but I think you guys are doing actually a pretty good job of explaining this game.
I am dead serious.
We don't,
but let me ask you
when it comes to this game, we don't play.
Dead serious.
Thank you, Reverend Hamhead, for the
Thank you,
$5.
It's a serious wand I have.
Nerds.
Oh, so these sheets that you're talking about that you use in Dungeons and Dragons, there was a series of games at the time in the 90s that started using these. Avalon Hill was a game maker that started using these sheet-based games a lot. And like the Status Pro series, Status Pro Baseball, Status Pro Football, Status Pro Basketball, which still are probably the funnest kind of like sports fast action card games you could play. But there was no action. There's no players. Everything's just on a piece of paper, and you're just like, all right, he was 1 for 1 with 1 rebound. And at the end, you just have a stat sheet, and that's the game.
Okay.
What?
So
what we're gonna do, Luigi, one of these days, I'll set up like a quick mini game for you to do. And we can even. Oh no, we're gonna do it.
We can do it right now, Luigi. Oh, he stepped off a cliff. He died. I rolled. He died. That's how fast it can end in D&D for you.
I'm gonna set up one of these days like a quick 15-20 minute thing, and I'm gonna walk you through it. And in fact, we can make that even side content, so you can see it. Once you have it in front of you, it makes a lot more sense. Like when you.
You know, sometimes it's about the people you meet along the destination, Luigi.
That could have been the answer all along, and I would have believed it. But let me ask you this,
Luigi. You know what the real dragons
Sometimes
are?
they're
The dragons
trolls.
are the friends we made along the way in the dungeon.
Sometimes they're monster trolls.
let me ask you this: why do you think? And I'll take both your answers separately, I guess. Why do you think it was targeted by Christians? And by the way, Reverend Hamhead.
Thank you, Hammers, again.
Dungeon
This would be
Master is judge, lawyer, plaintiff, defendant, juror, equals characters, class, clans, trial, quest, dice, case files.
He's nailed it.
Got it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Actually, not bad, Hammers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Hamhead. And then Cardiff Electric Illegitimate Son, thank you for the $1.99. Dungeons and gay. Oh, by the way, that's Carl. Carl, I hope you saw my post on YouTube that we missed one of your super chats on Monday. Sorry about that, but yes, he did give us $1.99 to call us gay on Edge Files. Thank you.
By the way, if I came in my backyard and my kids were playing lawyer, we'd have a Susan Smith situation, I'm pretty sure. I'd be looking for the localist lake. They would have 0 hit points. You know what I'm saying?
So it's interesting because in most of our episodes, when I'm doing like the research, I can grasp, the concept of what we're talking about, understand it. This one was just, I felt like you really needed to dig deep to understand why. Why would Christians find problems with this? And the way that you are describing, are you eating or sucking a dick?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
I don't have any food around.
The issue is that, like, while I'm hearing, or doing the research of, I really don't care that you're eating. It was just funny that your face was moving so definitively.
Yeah, I'm going to be eating in a couple of minutes myself.
It's all good. I eat too. It was interesting because, like, while I'm hearing all of this stuff about the game being attacked, and we're going to hear some insane claims from people like pastors and religious leaders talking about the crazy shit about this game, I never understood what the fuck they were talking about. And that's purposeful. Of course, I could have gone and looked, but knowing that you two were players, I wanted you to explain some of this to me.
If I can explain in a nutshell why those like hardcore Christians, like where it's not even Dungeons and Dragons itself, and I'll get to why. It's more of the craze that's taking attention away from quote unquote God and the church, where these kids could be spending their time and money on the church, but they're buying this. Like, I think I brought it up last episode, but there is a video that I have to find. It's like 20 years old, where like a pastor guy's doing a sermon and he's talking about Pokemon and how it's demonic. And he's like, Satan, you have to catch them all like they catch your soul. So it's like whatever this is a dead ass thing. It's a serious thing. So it's whatever the craze is and is grabbing the attention.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actual D&D itself. It's just the fact it was blowing up and becoming mainstream amongst kids. And it was kind of taking them away from God. And that's what I think it was more than anything.
I have a briefer answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're grifting. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B on that one. But definitely, I agree with both your answers. But Gummi, you are right in that it became an issue because of imagery. Imagery was the thing. Was that because of, there were images of something that just looked demonic, that it had to be demonic. But then we're actually going to find out that there were a couple of stories that directly led to widespread epidemic of panic and suspicion of the game because of some misconstrued stories and some misconstrued issues that people had associated with the game. Much like we talked about in the first episode with Michelle Remembers, leading the way and making people on guard for satanic cults, but then also throw in media's widespread dissemination, or we have a word for it now, misinformation not verifying any of the facts that they're spreading because it's sexier story to tell if it's crazy and outlandish. That's really where a lot of this panic came from. But then it actually kind of evolves into there being specific people that targeted it, and church leaders took their lead on it. So along the way, as we start this video package and learn a little bit more about it, I'm going to ask some questions. So please forgive my ignorance, and please forgive my my non-nerdness, whatever you want to call it.
You're a nerd.
Knowing about this. Yeah, that's true. I am definitely a nerd in just a very different way. But this is just one I just missed the boat on. It never caught me.
It's never too late. I teach all ages. I specialize in 5e. I'm telling you, I'm going to get you to play.
All right. I'll play if we do it on the show.
Of course. Hey, I spent a cool 38 cents to ship you those dice. You're going to play, goddammit.
Let's see here. Wait. Donald Kunzer says, I blame Tom Hanks. Yes, folks. This is the episode where we discuss Tom Hanks's contribution to the widespread panic of satanic undermining of the American government system.
Yeah, I get it. Toy Story. Wasn't that about possessed toys? Because the kid was like...
That's exactly it.
Yeah, he was bound to Satan or something, right? That's what I got out of it.
Let's see here. Let's get the show on the road, I guess. We're doing things just a little bit differently because this is part of a new series. I like to play this. Ah, shit. Should have had that ready.
It began as a cult phenomenon, then it caught on. Now a new game is sweeping the country.
D&D. It's become popular with children anywhere from grammar school on up.
Yeah, but it's just your character that does it on the sheet of paper.
Not so with a lot of adults, and says there are 28 deaths related to Dungeons and Dragons.
We're really talking about intense involvement in a very serious form of violence.
She felt so strongly that it was...
Now, did you guys hear that? Ed Bradley from 60 Minutes talking about 28 deaths associated with Dungeons and Dragons. Have either of y'all ever heard that number?
No.
No, they didn't have the proper healing spells.
Yeah. Or I figured it'd be some like dumb shit. Like the kid had like a Dungeons and Dragons like book in his book bag, gets hit by a bus. Like, oh, he died because of that. Like they'll find some way to tie the death to it.
You're absolutely right. And it's not that what we're going to hear is not that far off from that scenario. What are you going to say? I'm sorry, Casey.
This is a Marilyn Manson playbook to the T, you know?
That is funny that you say that, because I actually kind of thought about discussing that and how it basically was just repurposing the same argument and reliving it in a different time. Very much so.
Hey, do you guys remember that rumor where it was like Marilyn Manson was the nerdy kid from the Wonder Years?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, but
plus he had ribs moves, so he could suck his own dick.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Casey.
Pre-internet stuff was fun.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. It's not that important.
My bad, bro.
That's okay.
Was responsible for her son's death, that she formed a network of concerned people to warn others about the dangerous aspects of the game.
Were you guys aware of a organization called BADD? B-A-D-D.
No.
Okay. This is good then. This is good. We're all going to learn something new. But a quick recap of last episode, which was part 1 of the Satanic Panic series, in which we lay the foundation of how the Satanic Panic was formed with Michelle Remembers.
Okay, I'm going to mute.
Amazingly, the sweeping hysteria and mob mentality of Satanic Panic all started with the 1980 release of Michelle Remembers. The book was sold as a true account of Michelle Smith as recalled through recovered memory therapy performed by Canadian psychiatrist Lawrence Pasdar, who co-wrote the book.
Did you know the Satanic Panic was birthed out of Canada, Casey? Did you know that?
All horrible things are. I'm not surprised. Except a broken social scene. Love me some Feist. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, 4.
These recalled memories largely involved sweeping claims of satanic ritual abuse. As defined by Dr. Rosalind Waterhouse in her doctorate thesis, satanic ritual abuse is a belief in extreme sexual and physical abuse of children by organized networks and secret cults of devil-worshipping Satanists as part of their belief system in bizarre black magic rituals which include the drinking of blood, eating of feces, animal and human sacrifice, and the impregnation of victims for the purpose of the breeding of babies for sacrifice.
I draw the line in eating feces.
Canada! Visit Canada!
It's not too often that we have to discuss eating feces on the show, but occasionally it does come up.
Why am I here for that?
If you didn't catch last week's episode, KC, this woman and this totally grifting psychiatrist wrote a book in which she talked about how she was held captive and forced to do a lot of things with no reasoning or background for any of it, other than she was just simply being tortured for the sake of Satan. And then at some point in the book, she gets to meet Satan. Literally says she meets Satan, and then later meets the Virgin Mary, who actually rescued her and took her out of there. Guess what? They were lying, and they started fucking each other, and they both left each other's spouses and were taking money from the church to disseminate this crazy story, despite none of it being true. Would you believe that the Catholic Church was behind something so nefarious? Crazy,
Our grandparents were idiots. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
Yes.
Morons. Just utter rubes. You just tell them anything, they'll believe it.
And what's crazy is so many people believe that, and it lays the foundation for people to build on it, to get a piece of this panic, this satanic panic, up this pie of satanic panic, in which now the nation, the continent of North America, is now on widespread alert of satanic cults being everywhere. They be your neighbor. They could be your politician. It's now McCarthyism, but with Satan, with Satan being the representation of communism. It's ridiculous. And what came up immediately after, suspected satanic cults, that the satanic cults were actually using games to infiltrate and corrupt the youth. Yeah.
There wasn't just concern, there was outright panic. For instance, in a review written for the Tribune Press in 1981, Aunt Hulda in part writes, Michelle's mother was forced by prosperous and powerful members of the Church of Satan to let them use her 5-year-old daughter in one of their rituals.
What's that?
I said that sounds like a Stut Show thing. Really, Aunt Hulda? The way it's spelled?
That is really weird. I've never heard of a person named Hulda. Well, whatever.
We know that there is an organization called the Church of Satan, but to read of an experience such as Michelle's happening in the civilized city of Victoria, British Columbia, comes as a shock to all thinking people. We all need to study and pray. First, please read Michelle Remembers. And people did read. They read in droves, making the book a bestseller. Of course, after the book's publication, the events depicted therein were widely debunked through various sources, including Smith's own father, but there was no putting the genie back in the bottle, and for over a decade, Satanic Panic gripped the nation.
And that is the exact pattern that happens with Dungeons and Dragons. And we're going to see it. It completely foreshadows the cycle of Dungeons and Dragons with the Satanic Panic, in that someone makes a claim that is unfounded, doesn't have really any basis in truth, but the media picks up on it, spreads it, and then when those people involved try to actually retract the statements, it's too late. And the belief that Dungeons and Dragons is somehow associated with mind control and Satan has grown legs and taken off and become its own story, regardless of the people denying that it had any truth to begin with. And it's just really kind of interesting how all of these stories really just kind of have the same cycle.
Well, so there's an extra layer here too. Like, I actually remember going to church at this time because that's where the puss is at in a small town when you're a kid. You hang out.
Fair
at
enough.
Church. And so I remember these guys would come in and do speeches at like the youth ministry and then the rest of the church. And these guys, like, they're Monday we're going to talk about how Dungeons and Dragons is evil. Tuesday we're going to look how dinosaurs and Jesus walked together, and we have the evidence. And I remember sitting in a room listening to him talk about how, like, the layers of Earth were reversed and dinosaurs shouldn't be at the top and blah, blah, blah. And thinking, oh, we're the brainwashed ones. Not like, you're saying everyone else is brainwashed, and then you come in, these, like, jackals come into these Baptist churches in the middle of the Pacific Northwest and, like, brainwash everyone into thinking these things. And I even heard one more story. At that church, they were talking in the pews one day afterward, like mothers passing along a terrible fucking thing. They're like, you know what I heard? I heard if we drive home tonight, we put on our bright lights, gang members from Los Angeles will murder us all. And I just thought, I'm in the dumbest reality possible. I couldn't figure out how they would get up here. This is 2,000 miles away.
They just came up here just to kill people and hope that they would only kill them if they shine their lights on them. No, I totally remember the same urban legends.
Yeah. Misinformation, man. That's the generation misinformation, really. So thank God for the internet.
There was also an urban legend with spunk ball. Do you guys know that one? Like, if a car goes next to you and you hear them yell spunk ball, you got to, like, roll your windows up, because if not, they throw tennis balls with, like, gasoline into your car. Much like headlights one. That was like at least over here that was a thing. Yeah.
I believe that. I mean, I totally believe that was an urban legend, but no, I've not heard of that. That's funny.
And honestly, why we could deal with aliens, because look at what we came from. Look at how we were thinking in the 90s about things to now. We could take aliens. We could understand it. We could get our heads around it.
And if you didn't watch the first episode, KC, the people who wrote that book, Michelle remembers, it was Michelle Smith and Lawrence Pasder. They become that person you're describing. They did a tour. They literally do a tour, speaking to people, and then they start gaining credibility where they begin to get hired by psychological associations to speak at conferences for the continuing education of the psychiatrists. And then after that, they gain more credibility where they're then speaking at law enforcement conferences for continuing education. So they're the ones telling police and FBI agents how to identify satanic ritual abuse and then how to talk to them and how this is very, very real. They were getting paid by these organizations to make those speeches and tour. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Really makes you question the intelligence and intelligence agencies.
Yep. And it was an FBI agent who just started asking basic questions like, when I keep asking questions of her, why do you answer? and then at some point just starts a conversation. This guy literally just says, most of these cases are bullshit, right? And he's like, then why are you talking about it? Yeah.
Asking questions no one asks, like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The hard-hitting questions.
But there's so many similarities with the cycles of these things. It starts one place, gets spread out in a time where people couldn't verify. But what's crazy also is when you think about in the world we are now, in which so many things are verifiable, researchable, and sometimes people just don't care to do that. And we're gonna, we've seen so many examples of people just hearing something, wanting to believe it's true in order to maybe quell some of their own concerns about their own life and some of the choices they've made, when there's a scapegoat to actually take away some of the shame you might have because of decisions you've made. We're going to see. That'll make sense as we go along the story.
It's why ultimately, like, to sane people, politics is just a disease. Because you look at it and you're like, what? Where's the logic in this? And so you pop out. You're like, I
couldn't agree more.
Check
Could
it
not
out.
agree more. And also, it is the one area where if someone challenges me to to some sort of debate, I immediately concede because I know I'm not going to change your mind. Why should I waste my time?
The whole theory about mind changing, but this is probably want to keep under 4 hours, this show, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
We make no promises.
That's our brand. But here we go.
In 1974, a couple of gamers named Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson released a game called Dungeons & Dragons. Based heavily on the war games that they played and loved, D&D took the notion of high adventure and Tolkien fantasy.
So do you know all this history as fans, you two?
Kinda, but I know, like, you know the basics. Like, this is essentially, there would be no D&D without J.R.R. Tolkien and The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I mean, it really is a love letter to that. So you could play as characters. I mean, all the characters come from the book: dwarf, elf, ranger.
But the
paladin,
style of game was actually based on some kind of, they call it war game. I don't know. It was apparently based in some kind of popular game. I don't know.
It based so much on Tolkien that actually one of the characters you could be was a hobbit, but they legally had to change it.
Oh, really?
Halfling.
Halfling. Yeah, you're a halfling.
Yeah, it was originally known as a hobbit. They were like, nope, got to change that.
Huh. All new stuff to me. Didn't know any of that.
And specialized it, making the focus less
Sort of
about
like
the
the
grand
pigs
wars
back then.
and nameless soldiers of history, and more about the individual characters and adventures that they went on. For the first time, players took on the role of a single character and developed them. Over the course of several play sessions, a lowly squire could grow into a gallant knight in shining armor, a street urchin could become a dangerous assassin, and a humble wizard's apprentice could grow into a powerful sorcerer. The game was relegated largely to the basements and AV clubs of history, with the majority of players being wargamers and the more specialized sorts of personalities, the kind that enjoyed the idea of pretending to be a dwarf for 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 hours at a time.
Is that how long the games go?
Well, I've been playing a game with my friends for over 20 years. The same game with the same characters.
Yeah, it's sessions, individual
sessions. Think of it as like episodic television. And everything carries over. Like, levels you make, experience, the items you find or items you use.
So is there a winner of the game like in a normal board game?
The winner is the one who gets the most hit points and levels up the most. I mean, you build a character and then that character sort of lives a life. And so you want to have the best armor, the best weapon, the highest level, the most hit points. If you're a magic wielder, you want to have like the highest hit points or the highest, be able to wield magic. Like, you improve constantly. That's the goal of the game.
It depends the winner. Like if there's like an endpoint to the story, like for example, I'll get into this also. One of the things I do, cause me being a small town man these days, I actually run a D&D club for the high school kids in our local library.
Oh, wow. All right.
And we do a session from October.
It's one way to meet the ladies. Am I right, guys? Huh?
Ladies?
Jesus.
So we do 2 sessions a year, and every session is like, when I say session, I mean like a whole story arc, is like its own thing. So like if some of those kids want to come back for the second session, they start brand new characters. So I keep everything into, let's just say, 1 season. And we have a couple episodes. We have an episode every week of that season, and that season's a full story.
Okay.
So in that respect, there is, because there's like the ultimate evil that you want to beat, like an end boss in a game, or you know how certain games, like after you beat the end boss, you can just still keep going.
Yeah.
Like I say, like Fallout, same thing. Because new bosses can come. Or I actually did a thing which one of my friends, he was the dungeon master. Great idea. We played a game for about a year. We got our characters like super max. They pretty much became gods. What he did is he started a new game where all of our characters became corrupted. They were the evil. So we had to make new characters to fight the people that we made like the previous year. So, it goes where your imagination wants to take you.
Also, I would say that fantasy sports is a direct offshoot of the people that used to play D&D.
From what I'm hearing, I can see that. Definitely. Yeah.
Fantasy football is pretty much D&D, just more gay.
Interesting. Okay.
You know how like pickleball's gayer tennis? I think like fantasy football's gayer D&D. Am I right, folks?
I can see it. I can see it. All right.
They're all gay.
However, its popularity spread, and it became clear that D&D was on its way to being a cult success. The problem started largely in the 80s. With the rising popularity of the Church of Satan, the sudden political power of the evangelical moral majority, and a full-on war on drugs rearing its head, the country was becoming unrecognizable to a huge swath of the people who, well, panicked. Parents have always worried about their children, but now the news was telling them that one wrong turn could see their babies kidnapped or seduced by drugs, gang violence, or Satan himself. One could argue that this worry caused parents to maybe jump the gun a little bit.
You all right? I learned it by watching you.
It's such a recognizable commercial. Like everybody knows that commercial, right?
Of course. Real quick in chat, what up, Mersh? He's here. Any of you guys play Muds? And
we had a conversation about. I just learned about Muds.
Spoke about, bro. Welcome, Mersh. Good to see you, man. Haven't spoken in a minute. Hope all's good.
Mersh, I played Muds so hard that I would have two computers where I would script the upstairs computer. Like every time I go north, this would follow that person, and it was a ninja, so he could sneak into a room, and he would anytime I would attack, he would attack. So I'd have this secret ninja army attacking people. It was amazing until my dad came up. He was like checking his fucking AOL. And I'm like, Dad, stop it! Get my ninja killed. But yes, if we killed you, I'm sorry. It was. But the great thing about it, Mud, was like it had to be on a local sort of a bulletin board system. So we would do pizza parties with everyone from all the guilds. And there was always fights. There was always someone knocked out by the end of it, which was fun.
Mersh says, I remember getting a ban from Batmud for scripting.
Yeah, they didn't like scripting, but you did it at late night, they couldn't catch you.
All right, that's going to have to be a different episode because I don't understand these words you guys are using.
You need hit points, or you need experience points somewhere, and my God, it's just easier to get at night. No one's around, you can kill skeletons all night long. It's amazing.
Casey, you ever play on Roll20?
No, I don't know. Is that online? No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah. It's you could play online. That's how I played with people around the world. You can actually have the board on the screen, and everyone moves their characters, and it automatically does the math and all that shit.
No, I never did play that. But did you play any of the Game Master Series games? Axis and Allies, Fortress America, Shogun.
Those were Axis and Allies and Shogun. Yep.
Oh, the best one is Fortress America. You were attacked by Saddam Hussein. It's amazing. And you defend America from Saddam Hussein as a kid, and you're like, this is fun. I sure hope I don't go to war one day.
Man, I had a very, very different upbringing.
Unified by the evening news and daytime talk shows, the country felt a bit smaller
strong jaw.
And you had supposed experts coming on and telling you that there was something very real out there that you should be.
If you don't remember that clip, that was actually from our last episode of Michelle Remembers, where that was actually a police officer saying that she believed that 50% of children born in the United States.
Right. Yeah. I remember that because we were like, she has a handsome jaw. I remember that.
We're being kidnapped just to be murdered. 51%.
I do remember
51% of all babies in America were being murdered. Yes.
It's like, I want your dad to use a firearm.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Number 4, sexual abuse aimed at destroying faith in God. It's being described by numerous children.
The first modern account of satanic abuse set off a firestorm that caught just about everything in its wake. Music, film and television, and of course, games. With its adventures centered around magic spells, mythical beasts, and a largely polytheistic world, Dungeons & Dragons was an easy target. A deluge of rumors and stories began to circulate among the American public, spurred on by investigations and speculations.
All right, so now this is where we're going to get into the stories that actually inspired Christians to start targeting this. And I'm going to stop it to ask you guys how much you know about this or have ever heard of any of this.
People were starting to panic, and they needed something to blame. And history has always shown that when someone needs an easy scapegoat, it's the weirdos who get the shaft.
The role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons debuted in 1974. It became a hit with many adolescents, but critics claimed it was an invitation to devil worship.
The witchcraft, the demonism, the spells.
And worse.
It is not fun and games.
The media set off a satanic panic.
The game of Dungeons and Dragons has been around since the early 70s. It's played by an estimated 5 million people.
Did y'all know that? That was very surprising to me. 5 million people
What do you think?
in the 80s.
We have nothing to do.
Yeah,
we were just sitting around looking at yellow pages. Do you remember reading names out of yellow pages? I
still
do.
just seemed like such a high number, but
and the barrier to entry is so low. Like back then, especially then, it was, getting a red box was like really cheap, and the dice, box. And you could back then for like less than $10, you can get a whole thing ready for everybody. You already had your pencils, calculator, notebook. All you needed was the dice and the fucking booklet.
And there was a megalomaniac in every neighborhood, and that was the dungeon master. He was going to control and wrangle these kids for his own entertainment. And they were all the same age, but he was. There's always a leader in a neighborhood. They take charge.
When I growing up, we were broke, so we would just like our library had the books, so we would just get photocopies of like the sheets and all that shit. So it's all really cheap. Like right now, that's why I always tell people like you can. If you have zero supplies, you can get into D&D for less than $5. If you just go to the Dollar Tree, just got to get calculator, which is on your phone, pencil, notebook. You can even buy the dice now. You can buy a pack of those dice in Dollar Tree, and that's all you need. And you can get the character sheets for free from the basic rules from the Wizards of the Coast site.
I would splurge for the wizard hat and the wand, though. It makes it funner. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I have one already. I assume everyone has one already, so I don't think you should buy it. If not, I mean, what the fuck are we all doing here?
Also, nude D&D. That's a thing. That's fun, too.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For 8 solid hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I never played Dungeons and Dragons.
It is also the target of a group of concerned parents in the United States who call themselves BADD, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons. The reason they are bothered is because they believe the game has been involved in a number of murders and suicides across the United States and now in Canada. At the trial of a 14-year-old boy who admitted to strangling a young Orangeville, Ontario girl and her brother, it was revealed the accused had been playing the game for 18 months, had in fact been a dungeon master of his own group for 5 months.
As is usually the case with scapegoats and moral panic, tenuous links are drawn between a tragedy and something that people have decided they don't like, be it because it's strange to them, it offends their moral sensibilities, they fear the sorts of people associated with it, or some other closed-minded reason. Such was the case with Dungeons and Dragons, an innocent role-playing game that had been around since 1974. The first case to make links between the game and tragedy was in 1979, when 16-year-old Michigan State University student James Dallas Egbert III disappeared from campus.
Has anyone ever heard of this story? James Dallas Egbert. Anything? Nothing on this. Okay. Well, here we go. This is so convoluted and silly, it is really remarkable that this ever was given credibility with the news. But we've learned that real life can be stranger than fiction, and people are always willing to believe something really stupid. But here is the story of James Dallas Egbert.
In 1979, 16-year-old child prodigy James Dallas Egbert III disappeared from his room at Michigan State University.
As the days passed, with no sign of the boy, his family hired private investigator William Deere. Deere traveled to Michigan State and discovered that Egbert was struggling to deal with pressure relating to his school performance, possible drug use, and he was also grappling with his sexual identity.
So James Dallas Egbert was actually a child prodigy and started college at Michigan State University when he was 15 years old. And then apparently garnered a reputation of disappearing for days at a time. And people just were like, that's him. That's how he is. And then at one point he disappears for over a week and his parents get concerned. And his parents actually had a connection to a private investigator in Texas. And they hire him and say, can you go find our son? And this guy from Texas goes to Michigan and starts investigating James' dorm room. And this is where the story gets crazy.
He looks like a young Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, he does.
Dallas Egbert.
That's what happened to him. He became Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
Here from Michigan State University during the summer session. I wasn't sure that I was being told exactly what precipitated his disappearance. So I said, well, I guess the best thing we can do is I'll go to Michigan State University and I'll find out for myself exactly what was going on.
What he found when he went to Egbert's dorm room was a shelf of neatly stacked books and something else.
There was a cork board with a series of tacks.
In what might look like a random pattern of thumbtacks, the investigator saw what he thought could be a clue. The shape resembled a building that was part of a network of underground campus steam tunnels, which students told him they sometimes explored.
So, there's something bullshit about that. I can't tell you what. But he claims that this series of thumbtacks leads him to this underground tunnel, or series of underground tunnels underneath a steam plant that was near the campus. And one weird thing about this is that he starts interviewing other students who say that they would go wandering in these steam tunnels underneath this plant. Now, whether or not the thumbtacks are what led him there, that sounds like really kind of a stretch. But he does eventually find out that these steam tunnels underneath this plant are gathering places for college students.
Set out with maps.
I will say though, looking at that, I did see a map, but I didn't think of it. I thought of it as a dungeon. I'm kind of annoyed my broke ass didn't think of using a tack board when I was a kid.
But also, I think honestly he heard about the tunnels from an interview, and then made this tenuous link to these tacks for the sake of telling a better story.
That's what I'm saying.
That just
I
sounds
think
like
it was
stupid. That sounds stupid.
Yeah, I think it was a game map. I really do, and he just read too much into it.
But here we go.
Going into the tunnels one morning with press everywhere. I entered with the idea that I did not know what I was getting into.
But guess who he goes down there with? Media cameramen. And this is where the story starts to lose its credibility with me.
But he had a hunch that it had something to do with a game that was growing in popularity.
This is a quest in a fantasy world of castles and dungeons, monsters and dragons. This world has become real to these people. It's all part of a game called Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, also known as D&D, was created by the late Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson in the early 1970s. It was born out of their love for military war games, and they devised scenarios with made-up characters that incorporated their interest in history and fantasy fiction. Gygax said it provided an escape.
All of us at times feel a little inadequate in dealing with the modern world. It would feel much better if we knew that we were a superhero or a mighty wizard.
The game is played in a group, and the guide, or dungeon master,
you enter a very small room,
talks the players through the fictional, sometimes violent
Gummy, doesn't that guy sound like, I like to wear pretty dresses?
Adventures they will go on.
And each has an elaborate scoring sheet for his character, with points for wisdom and strength and the like. A throw of these special dice decide the outcome of battles in an intricate scoring system. Nothing is acted out. The real action is in the mind.
Homework and calculators. Sounds like a great game.
I mean, you guys are entering the castle.
I'm teasing, but yes, I get it.
But some, including Deer, worried that while the action was imaginary, some kids might take it too far.
You're leaving the world of reality into the world of fantasy. It advocated murder.
This is where I started to get angry. Listen to what this guy says.
Decapitation. And I'm going, this isn't a healthy game. How can it be a healthy game?
That aggravates me when I hear it so much, because just to say what makes a good game, you're not an expert, sir, nor do you understand entertainment value. You are not any sort of authority on what makes a good game. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I always asked my adventurers to bring a body part from their family members. I thought that was fun for the game. Spice things up. You didn't do this, Gummy? You didn't use your people to murder other people? I mean, that's...
No, when someone
why are you even in
dies-
control of other people if you're not going to murder them? I mean, come on.
No, we actually kill our group member who actually died in the game. We're like, all right, well, we kind of do the Freddy Krueger thing that if they die in the dream world, they die in real life. So, we do kind of sacrifice them to Satan. So the guy does have a point.
We would make him eat the cookie, do what you will with that.
In episode 1 of the Satanic Panic, we heard one supposed story of a woman who was part of a satanic cult that ordered a pizza, and when the pizza boy arrived, they killed him and ate him. Remember that one? Gummy? Anyway.
Little pepperoni on top.
That game, and Deer's hunch that Egbert was playing it in the tunnels, made great fodder for headlines.
Wait a minute. So now we're taking the leap from, I saw this collection of thumbtacks that I thought were steam tunnels, and then now by sheer coincidence we found out, wait a minute, he's playing Dungeons and Dragons with a group of college kids in the steam tunnels? This sounds nefarious.
But it was a dead end, and Deer went back to Texas empty-handed.
It was all bullshit. All of it was bullshit, and he goes back empty-handed. But what happens is he tells his theory to news organizations who are trying to find out the whereabouts of this missing boy.
It wasn't within a day or two that the phone call came in. And I was told where I could find him.
He's trying to soften the blow of his failure. James Egbert called him and said, I heard you're looking for me. The boy was fine. He had some mental issues. He disappeared. But here we go.
They're still alive.
He had cast an invisibility spell.
That's what it was.
I was gonna say he went on a quest.
Flew out, and I'm trying to remember exact words, but he couldn't really say a lot. And I left it like that.
Egbert was a complicated teenager whose disappearance was never fully explained.
When Deer gave a statement to the media, he omitted that Egbert had been suffering with serious personal issues, and instead only offered his theory about Dungeons and Dragons.
So it turns out this kid had a long history of mental issues and suicide attempts. But when interviewed, the private investigator only discussed his discovery and his theory that Dungeons and Dragons probably played a role in his disappearance and his speculative murder. Or death. I'll just say death.
Counterpoint. Marketing plan from Dungeons and Dragons. Discuss.
Believe it or not, we find out exactly how this affects Dungeons and Dragons. And
well, I'm just saying,
like 100% correct. It skyrocketed Dungeons and Dragons.
This is what sells dice, baby.
Yeah.
Beheaded children sells dice.
So he gives this story, and then the kid calls him.
Media attention exploded. It turned out that Egbert had attempted to take his own life in the tunnels on the day of his disappearance, but failed.
So the kid had gone down to these tunnels.
He rolled a 1. Hey-oh! I was doing the same one. We're going the same
Yep,
job.
I got you. You see?
Takes a handful of Quaaludes thinking it's going to kill him. He passes out, wakes up, and just says, well, shit. And then decided to take a walk.
As one does.
He then went to his uncle's home. The older man arranged transportation for him to New Orleans, where Egbert made a second unsuccessful attempt on his life. With media attention.
And then he tries to kill himself again using a cyanide concoction and fails again.
God, he can't even do that right.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty sad.
Failure.
But the guy had problems and had nothing to do with the game.
Tension growing, his uncle urged him to contact Deer. Deer reunited the teen with his family, and Egbert attempted to resume a normal life. He switched schools and remained in contact with the detective, but Egbert...
So none of this had anything to do with Dungeons and Dragons, but the media got a hold of it and decided to keep going with it. The kid decides he's actually going to try to get his life on track, moves closer to home, starts going to school closer to home.
But continued to struggle with...
He eventually becomes a good Egbert. Hey,
This is Elon Musk.
drug use. And his relationship with his parents deteriorated.
Now, to be fair, Deer would later write a book to set the record straight, though by that time...
He writes a book that says, I was wrong about everything.
The damage had largely been done.
It was too late.
By the time Egbert contacted Deer from New Orleans to turn himself in, the media had already run with a largely fictitious story of D&D's insidious hold over the boy. Though, once he'd come home, it was clear the game had nothing to do with his disappearance, which was caused by a combination of other factors like depression, drugs, parental pressure, and grappling with his sexual orientation. Sadly, in 1980, James Egbert died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Three times the charm, right, people?
Finally, it works. Like you have to tell him, finally, he was successful.
He must have got a magical weapon.
I was about to say he used magic missile on himself.
Enchanted.
I don't know any of these words. But
Don't
yes,
you feel left out?
I do, actually. I do feel a little weird. But it turns out...
Yeah, you're the weird one.
It turns out that the story that got told about him was all lies and was even retracted. But the media got a hold of it, and then the Christian church hears the original story, and that's what actually starts this targeted campaign against Dungeons and Dragons. A lie. A retracted lie.
D&D was made, and this specific incident was even adapted into the novel Mazes and Monsters and a 1980...
And then a book gets written as a fictionalized version of the lie. It's crazy how this snowballs. People just simply don't want to hear the truth. They'd rather hear the more salacious, crazy story without confirming it. And then...
to Tom Hanks film of the same name.
They get Tom Hanks involved.
It's been a long time, but welcome to the UAP phenomenon, Luigi. This is exactly the same thing that's going on in UAP. People will believe, they're like, look at this ship. And then it's proven to be a reflection of a light, a dining room light. And the guy just, oh, sorry, next, and goes and makes money on his next one, shilling a lie. So yes, these hucksters, they don't go away. They just recycle.
It's so amazing to me. And it's just a recurring pattern of people hearing something that is easily confirmable, easily able to be researched to find. Because
I'm
of the fact that
the whole premise of your show here.
Yes,
why are you surprised people are shit? Why?
I'm surprised that people don't mind fooling themselves. That's the craziest part. We live in a world of so many confirmable facts, but people just they really desire to believe that there's something out there that is just fantasy world.
And why does that make you so angry?
Because of the fact that it's just so incredibly counter to reality.
Yeah, well, it's who cares about...
Is reality great?
Yeah, I was going to say, who cares about the truth and
reality?
the lie is that much more interesting.
But that's the thing is that...
in reality, you die and worms eat your face.
I get it. But what is the value and reward of trying to believe something that hurts people and also denies reality?
Because people are selfish. If it's not hurting you, who cares?
That's what amazes me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I believe that, but
yeah, that's what amazes me. And like Michelle remembers, there were like people going to prison. That people were going to prison because all that had to be proven was an accusation of a broken law and that the person might be a Satanist. That's hurting people. That is people believing a fantasized world that does not actually exist, because reality was just a little too boring that they needed something exciting in their lives. That does amaze me. It's crazy.
They founded our country. They're called Christians. So we're sort of stuck with them,
I know. I guess I should say it never ceases to amaze me is really what it comes down to. That people are terrible and also delusional.
You know what? I like Christian delusion because in their delusions, they're like, oh, everyone's okay. Everyone can be saved. And that's good for me because they'll leave me alone. And I like that about Christians. I don't like the groups that are aggressive towards the NPCs. I'm an NPC. Leave me alone. Christians, they leave you alone. Other groups don't.
Not during this time. They didn't leave anybody alone during the 80s. They really tried to attack and ruin everything that they didn't like and didn't understand.
Well, yeah, but if you had tax-exempt status, you'd do the same thing, baby.
If I had tax-exempt status, you'd never find me.
No, you'd find. Listen, think about it. You have tax-exempt status. You create an enemy. You scare up people to give you money, and not $1 of that you have to give to anyone. It's a perfect plan.
It is a perfect
rinse and
plan.
repeat. Rinse and repeat.
But yeah, I have no desire to hurt anybody or send anybody to jail simply because I don't think that their way of life is adequate or comparable to mine. That's where it gets crazy.
Who has time to think about those people when you're counting all that money?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, exactly. Let's hear what Tom Hanks has to do with this.
And the panic spread like wildfire.
I do not think that many parents are aware of what's inside the game. In fact, in my presentation, I show many pictures from the inside the books just to show the images of this game. I mean, the gruesomeness of this game and the occult link to it.
Well, I know this is what's so crazy was that this was being exposed on a wide level across TV stations, people making claims like this. And listen
in between pillow biting. You know what I'm saying?
Listen to what his guest has to say.
When I did my message, and this has happened, I have letter after letter where people took the pieces. Now, there's 6s involved in the pieces of the game, but they take the pieces of the game, they would throw them in the incinerator or the fireplace, and screams would come out because...
I remember that part of the game. Yeah, the 6 screams. That's what...
He was saying that Christians were finding, their kids having these games and throwing them into fires. And when they threw them into fires, they heard screams from the spirits that embodied
what
the dice.
6s other than like the dice? And that's what
he's talking about, the dice. He's talking about
these 6s come with every board game, even though this ain't a board game, but that's that's the standard die.
Imagine you not putting any 6s at all in the game. What would the story be? There's no. Why is there no 6s? They're evil. Well, what are they doing with all those 6s?
That's what's amazing to me is that people didn't mind saying this completely ridiculous nonsense, getting people to listen to them.
Don't talk about Jesus
them.
like that. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like they're like scared to use the word 6. Like I just rolled a 5 + 1. Like they won't even use the word 6.
It's astounding to me that I was alive during this time.
The irony, they don't believe in like a 7th level dark night, but they believe in a virgin birth. Okay, yeah. One of these is true, one of them is not.
Or the belief that that there's one sect of Christianity that's better than the other. We believe in the virgin birth, but the fact that some guy found golden tablets that were left by an angel, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense.
Sideburns, I say the same thing. I thought this guy looked like a porn star too, bro. I thought the exact same thing.
There seem to be some kind of spiritual forces inhabiting those pieces.
Michelle Remembers was published just weeks after Egbert's.
Okay, I have another.
Hold on, real quick. Okay, Egbert dies on August 18th, 1980, and Michelle Remembers is published November 1st. For those of us following along from part 1. All right, I want to make that clear before I forget. Sorry, go ahead.
Quick parallel. Remember gangster rap coming out, and my parents saying the same thing. Oh my God, this is terrible. They talk about murder. They say the N-word, and I'm like, I need all of it. Like they lit the match. I didn't know it existed. Their hatred of it made me need it. Why does my dad hate this so much? My God, I must hear it.
The Streisand effect.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Streisand effect. Yeah. The more you try to, get something to be avoided, the more attention you bring to it.
I remember my mom goes, "What's a cool Mo-D?" It's above your head, bitch. That's what it is.
It's a drink.
When another death was linked to D&D, the sparks of a moral panic became a fire. In June of 1982, high school student Irving Lee Pulling was found dead in front of his house.
Now, this one is the second death associated with Dungeons and Dragons, but this one has an incredible fallout.
There was a gunshot wound in his chest. When police arrived and began to investigate, they informed Irving Lee's parents that the gunshot wound was self-inflicted. The teen had taken his own life. He had left 6 letters addressed to friends, a teacher, and 1 to his parents.
There's 6.
The investigators asked them a strange question. Mrs. Pulling, are you or your husband devil worshippers? The teen's mother, Patricia, was given her son's letter. Dear Mom and Dad, it began. as he confessed to hearing voices and being told to commit murder. He felt he was becoming evil, Antichrist evil, but was choosing to end his own life instead.
So this guy shoots himself in his parents' yard, his home.
Or as Karmic calls it, home. Hey-o.
Yes, the yard. And planned it, very, very methodically, very meticulously. And I mean, definitely sounds like schizophrenia.
Irving Lee Pulling was known as Bink. And his class.
I'm trying.
You left me hanging there, bro. What's up?
there's. I'm trying so hard not to give anything away. Sorry, it's
Mates described him as an unusually bright youth who was enrolled in the school's talented and gifted program for students with high IQs. They also said, however, that he had trouble fitting in. Shortly before his death, he wrote "Life as a Joke" on the blackboard in one of his classes. Prior to his death, Bink was an active Dungeons & Dragons player. His bedroom was decorated with Dungeons & Dragons paraphernalia, and he was a member of his school's Dungeons & Dragons club.
Okay, so this is an important part of the story in that he was, as reported, an avid player and part of a Dungeons & Dragons club. Okay?
A club that was set up and run by a teacher.
A club that was run and set up by a teacher. These are all very important points to this story.
Bink's mother, Patricia Pulling, became convinced that his participation in the game was directly related to his death. They discovered that just hours before Bink's death, another D&D player reportedly placed a curse on him. It read, "Your soul is mine, and I choose the time."
So his mother...
So he fought Shang Tsung?
His mother seems to, I'm not going to say that it's genuine, seems to genuinely believe that a player placed a curse on him and that is what led him to lose touch with reality and kill himself. All right.
So that's what led to Irving pulling the trigger. Hey, see what I did there?
I was curious how that was going to get used. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Let's give you an applause.
I mean, what's kind of gross, really, is that they used the only thing the kid probably was the least schizo in, a thing where he could actually be in character, have fun with people, interact in a way that he probably couldn't as a normal schizophrenic person, and then they turned that into the monster as opposed to the thing that probably kept him here longer than if he didn't have it. People say.
Well, you are right if this story was true.
Okay. Well, you got me. You got me.
Wait till we hear the real facts of the case.
I don't
At my command, you'll reave the land, a follower of evil, a killer of man. It was all the proof she needed. Patricia sued the high school principal for $1 million.
So his mother sues the high school. It was actually a principal, not a teacher. The principal was running this game group. So she sues him for allowing her son to have a curse placed on him. All right? You following me along? You following along here?
And she sued TSR, the makers of Dungeons & Dragons.
And then she sues the publisher of Dungeons & Dragons for her son having a curse put on him.
It's good to see Polpock's early work. Hey-o!
Claiming that this curse was intended to inflict emotional distress.
That the curse was intended to inflict emotion. The curse, by the way, I want to make sure we're still acknowledging the curse. That the curse was intended to place emotional distress on him.
At a time when Bink was already under extreme psychological stress and emotional pressure from playing Dungeons & Dragons. Patricia Pulling's lawsuits were quickly rejected.
There was speculation
They were immediately kicked out of court, both of them. All right.
Was the victim of a campus game called Dungeons & Dragons, but after a month-long nationwide search, he was found unharmed.
Deere fed into the growing suspicions about D&D in a book that pointed to the game as a culprit in Egbert's disappearance.
And capitalized on the situation with a sensationalized book, The Dungeon Master, which was published in 1984.
Now I went back a little bit before we're gonna hear the end of the Pulling story because there needs to be a little bit more context into how it all kind of comes together.
But Tim Kask, who helped develop D&D with Gary Gygax, says Deere was just hyping the story for personal gain.
He was a publicity hound, and he knew that he could hang it on D&D and gather a lot of media frenzy, and he did. Dallas Egbert is a tragic story. Brilliant young man, sent off to university at 15. It had nothing to do with D&D and the steam tunnels.
The specifics of his involvement in role-playing games were hazy at best, but the bare bones of the matter was that James Egbert was a tragic and mentally unhealthy young man who had issues that had nothing to do with his recreational hobbies. But just like Michelle remembers, the world didn't know that at the time, because the media ran with William Deere's accounts and wove a tapestry of an urban legend.
Still, that attention set off an unexpected chain of events.
Our stock took off.
So this is everything that happens as the fallout of the original death from Egbert, okay? And exactly the point you brought up, what did it do for sales of Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, literally. We sold thousands of more copies within 90 days of all that stuff happening, and we were up in print runs. That's when we took off.
Sales nearly quadrupled the year after Egbert disappeared. As the cult game was going mainstream, Dungeons and Dragons generated interest in two conflicting groups, people who wanted to buy it and those who wanted to ban it. And televangelists took on a new crusade.
They are kids like...
So now this is an issue of numbers, where it was a small minority of kids who found this, game, let's just call it a toy, that they're playing with.
Hey, now.
And
how dare you?
When this false story hits the news and gets spread without any verification, those numbers begin to skyrocket. And when the numbers skyrocket, that's when the grifters come. And the grifters realize they can jump on the bandwagon for hating it while making money.
If I'm TSR, I'm hiring a few of those grifters. Control the narrative a little bit,
No kidding.
like yours, like the ones in your neighborhood. Kids who are turning to darkness because society has shut God out.
Conservative fundamentalist Christian group would see a game that involved satanic figures, evil figures. That would be a source of concern.
Dungeons and Dragons has been...
By the way, can I just say, the Bible would be a fun quest in D&D. If you did all the characters and you're like, I'm going to be Jesus, I'm going to be Moses, and then you walk through the Bible and doing all this stuff, that'd be fun as hell.
There's all kinds of monsters in the Bible. There's
They missed an
dragons
opportunity to grab these kids' attention and really actually make it matter.
Yeah.
These fucking adults are always missing that.
That's true.
Parents just don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Introduction to the occult.
The dice only go up
in
to
the
5,
history
bro.
of man. It is a fantasy role-playing game that teaches demonology, witchcraft.
Gygax, a religious man himself.
Did y'all know that? Gygax is actually a Christian, a very openly proclaimed Christian.
So was Tolkien. Tolkien was a very deeply devout Christian. He thought creating this universe was like a divine inspiration from God.
Those words, the way they are on the screen. Do you guys remember, like maybe around 2010, like the hot thing I have on a t-shirt was like all characters from a TV show and be like this person and like just with an ampersand after every word. So I just imagine this on a shirt.
Say ampersand.
I'd wear the shirt.
Again. I like how you say ampersand.
Ampersand? Am I pronouncing it wrong?
No, you're saying it right.
It moved a little. I'm just saying. It moved a little.
I think you said it like too right.
Was put on the defensive. The company hired psychologist Dr. Joyce Brothers to fend off criticism.
Now, is this really the best spokesperson? I will admit they might have dropped the ball on this.
There is good and evil in life, and the way Dungeons and Dragons is set up is that good triumphs over evil.
Tim Kask says that in private, he and Gygax couldn't believe...
Not in private equity, baby.
Anyone else getting boned up by that voice?
It's very comforting.
You're right.
Anyone else have a Jersey Mike sub lately and see how much everyone wins in the end? The good guys win? No. Where'd all the meat go?
Believe the game was being linked to devil worship.
Without sounding disrespectful at all, we laughed our butts off most of the time. Because it's like, are you kidding me? You really think we're teaching your children demonology?
But the controversy grew after the news media reported that a string of teen murders and suicides had one thing in common. The killers or victims were D&D players.
See, but there's more to this, and that's what's crazy, is that it's not just the fact that they're teaching subjects of that are, antithetical to Christian beliefs. It's that it also apparently has the power to take control of the minds of the people who play it. Like, that's an element that they're just not really focusing on enough. And this
Mary Towie was killed by two friends, Ron Adcox and Darren Molitor. The crucial point is, can a game create psychosis? Or is someone like Darren Molitor an accident waiting to happen, with or without the game?
If you found 12 kids in murder-suicide with one connecting factor in each of them, wouldn't you question it? And that's all people do.
I would certainly do it in a scientific manner, and this is as unscientific as you can get. It's nothing but a witch hunt.
But many grieving parents believe there was a connection. Pat Pulling's teenage son committed suicide, and she spoke publicly, claiming that his game playing contributed to his death.
These children not only begin to have violent dreams.
This is Pat Pulling's mom. We just learned. I'm sorry. What was it? James Pulling. Shit, I forget his first name. Anyway, the guy who killed himself.
Pulling? Like his name rhymed.
Yes,
Adolf.
Yes, Irving Pulling. I think that's what it was. But yes, this is his mom, and she cannot
get it.
Well, she cannot accept the truth of his suicide, and she goes on a campaign to actually discuss Dungeons and Dragons and the spiritual aspects of it, and the impact that it's having on children.
Or violent thoughts or negative, depressing type things. They become very much a part of this character.
The myths of Egbert's suicide and instability would go on to inspire books like Hobgoblin and Mazes and Monsters, novels that star role-players who suffer as their favorite role-playing games cause them to lose their grip on reality.
Rona Jaffe's book, Mazes and Monsters, was loosely based on what people thought had happened to Dallas Egbert. It was made into a movie starring a young Tom Hanks.
Let the journey begin.
Well, which way do we go?
You can't. It's a trap.
Listen,
I have spells.
This is
I'm
some
going to
great
fly.
acting right here.
You don't have enough points.
Can't believe this
I
guy
am the
won
main
2
controller.
Oscars.
Maze control.
Yes.
How many hit points do you get for a rapping son? A wigger. 10.
Game. Me. TJ, what am I doing here?
That guy won 2 Oscars.
So we're doing a watch along, right, Luigi?
Yeah, you know what? I actually did pull a copy of it. Unfortunately, it got all kinds of copyright strikes.
Fuck you, not you.
I know.
That was like the sad ending of Big that they didn't show, where he jumps off a building
and his friends decide to all surround him.
And he hits the ground. He hits that piano. Just goes bonk. Just one note.
It's like when the Incredible Hulk died in the movie. When he lands, he's the kid again.
Oh. So
but only an inch high.
That's what's crazy about this, is that the game gets this reputation of there's this one aspect of it being satanic, and then now it is also controlling minds. That's when we talk about like unbelievable shit and people trying to believe nonsense, that falls into it. It's like, wow, how did people really believe this, and why do they want to believe this? But let's see why Irving Pulling's mom.
Ready for our main villain, Pat Pulling. Remember Bink, Irving Pulling? Bink's mother sent the Satanic Panic hurtling into what it would become. After seeing Mazes and Monsters, hearing about Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not sure if Pat ever fully understood it, and being a fundamentalist Christian woman living in Virginia, Pulling was convinced it was Dungeons and Dragons that drove Bink to suicide.
So I think one thing that we can say, without being actual psychologists, is that there comes a lot of the people who start these movements within the Satanic Panic are people who just can't deal with the reality of the situation that where they might have been at fault. This particular situation is Pat Pulling goes on this campaign. We're going to see how far it goes. But really, we realized the game had nothing to do with it. It was just a grieving mother trying to place blame, trying to find a scapegoat, as opposed to blaming herself.
She's not going to blame herself for drinking during pregnancy, so might as well blame the game.
You know how else you could describe her, Luigi?
How's
a
that?
sucker, ready to be fucking conned in anything.
That's true. And then she becomes this full-on nemesis to Dungeons and Dragons. But what's crazy to me, again, is when people give these lunatics credibility. And watch what happens.
So what could Patricia Pulling do? Well, of course she had to sue her son's principal because she thought that the principal had put a curse on Bink and that's what drove him to suicide. I'm not joking. And let me repeat that. She attempted to sue the principal because she thought that he put a curse on Bink because he ran a D&D game. Now some backstory, this was part of a community program that the principal ran. They played everything from Monopoly to chess and yes, Dungeons and Dragons.
So remember we heard the story that he was part of a Dungeons and Dragons group?
It was the game of the week kind of
It
thing.
was a board game group. It wasn't a Dungeons and Dragons
Luigi,
group.
it's not a board game. God damn it. I'm kidding.
Well, I'm saying it was
I
a
know,
game group. Sorry. You did make that clear. But it was just a game group. But that's not what the media reported. Media reported a Dungeons and Dragons group.
It was just part of the rotation. This was something that this principal did to keep kids out of trouble. Obviously, the suit was...
And it was all in an effort to keep kids occupied and out of trouble. It was actually a good deed being done, and this woman tried to sue him.
Go for it. No, go for it, buddy.
I could make an argument that if D&D had been installed in schools as like a regular thing, we would have an entirely different society right now, not addicted to phone and games as much, but like, or they would just be way more creative. You know, everything around you would just be a lot more.
Or a lot less people because they're all killing themselves, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. What were you going to say earlier, Gummy?
And I said, for all we know, the kid could have killed himself because he landed on Boardwalk and the guy had 2 hotels and he couldn't afford the rent.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't get the domino.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He hit the whammy.
Yeah, yes.
Per se.
Oh, shit. I used to have a whammy. Damn it. I used to have a whammy sound. Do I still have it?
That's what your wife used to say too. Hey,
yes.
laughed out of the courtroom, so Pat did the only thing she could think of. Sue the makers of D&D, TSR, for making the game that killed her son. This case was too dismissed, so Pat did the only reasonable thing after that. She sued the publishers of D&D for publishing the game that killed her son. And
so, when she fails, she still does not give up.
And that case was too dismissed. So now we have 3 dismissed cases, one against the principal, one against TSR, and one against the publishers. Now you think that Pat might have learned.
She sues. We talked about 2 of her lawsuits earlier. There were 3 lawsuits that all got tossed out of court.
But this did not dampen Pat Pulling's feelings about D&D. And let me read you a quote by her. Pulling describes
like
D&D
Sam
as
the Eagle.
Get some
a fantasy
color in
role-playing
there.
game which uses demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, prostitution, satanic-type rituals, gambling, barbarism, cannibalism, sadism, desecration, demon summoning, necromantics, divination, and other teachings. Now, from here, Pat
That was just level
begins
1
to
with me.
become a private investigator.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah. You know, I've been playing D&D off and on for about 40 years. And pretty much everything was there, but I never played a game where there was like a rape. I don't know where the fuck that came from. I don't know what kind of game they're playing for, but pretty much everything else, yeah. But other than that, that's one thing. Like, I don't know, like why?
And I just don't. I don't even have the context of it. And even if there was, I don't know. I mean, I imagine there's some sort of reasoning for it, but whatever. But it's
They had
still a
some good
game. It's
ideas
not
there.
real people. Yeah. It's not real people. That's the thing. So Pat Pulling, after getting thrown out of court 3 times, decides she still needs to make a point and becomes a private investigator that specializes in investigating a cause and effect between Dungeons and Dragons.
More like
and
Dungeons and
crimes.
Dimples. Look at
Yeah,
her little dimples there.
I saw.
And
Luigi,
begins.
do you think? Would you say that Pat Pulling kept pushing? Hey,
No. I'll give you one of these. Oh, shit. Where is it? There you go.
Fuck you. I stand by that joke.
Here we go.
To investigate. Pat Pulling also became an expert in occult activity and was brought in as an expert witness many times to talk about the dangers of Dungeons & Dragons and what it did to Bink. In 1989, she even wrote a book, The Devil's Web, Who is...
And then she writes a book.
Of course she did.
But also, let's really step back and think about this. Like when we were talking, when Casey asked me earlier, why does this fascinate me? It's because the answer seems so obvious. It's like what's his name? Dale Gribble from King of the Hill was always one of my favorite characters because of the fact that he was a conspiracy theorist, but could never, ever notice the fact that his son looked like the Native American guy who was banging his wife. This is so typical of people who get this tunnel vision, but just can't see the immediate reality right in front of them, which was you're trying to find a scapegoat. Maybe your kid had problems and you weren't involved and you weren't interested, and maybe you could have saved it yourself, but nope, let's blame the game.
I also like, she didn't really write the book because there is a with right under it.
Yeah, no joke.
We all know Scattergories is the real demon in this story.
The pop-o-matic bubbles.
Stalking your children for Satan.
Is that the... Wait, no, that's Trouble. Trouble with the pop-o-matic.
You don't even know Scattergories. Goddamn.
Don't even make me bring up Upwards. You guys remember that one?
I don't know any of these games.
Upwards was like, what's the one with all the letters where you make words? Is that
Hungry Hippo.
Yes, there you go.
Shoots and Ladders.
Is it Scrabble where you make the words? Well, Upwards was the same thing, but you could also stack them on top of each other and add the stack letters on top of it.
Ah.
It contains essentially every stereotype that you're probably thinking in your head and more. And look, no matter what you think, it's just clear that this book is horribly researched, if Pat did any research at all. Pat really had no understanding of how the game worked. Or
DJ Electrifies Shoots and Ladders with Satan.
Chose not to listen to what people were telling her. I unfortunately think that it's the second option. And I truly do get, after researching Pat Pulling, that this was a woman stricken by grief who was trying to wrestle with it, but did not have the right resources to do so. And in the end, did a lot of harm to a lot of people. Pat Pulling created an organization called Bothered About Dungeons and Dragons.
She is the one who created the organization that we talked about earlier.
That's what it stands for?
Bothered? Yes. Bothered. Was it Bothered Against Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, that's so stupid.
It is
bothered,
pretty stupid.
It should be like angry or rage. I don't know, anything but bothered, because that just sounds like you're just like slightly annoyed. Like, you know what I mean? It's bothered.
I can't disagree.
She had a very strong dexterity score.
Seriously, I don't know. Just something about the word bother kind of bothers me. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not extreme of a word for an organization. Do you know what I'm trying to say with this?
I agree. It's weak. It's totally weak.
Yeah.
And then she writes a book. We talked about The Devil's Web, but I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Yeah. But she does. What's crazy, though, is that she does get some attention for her quote unquote efforts against Dungeons and Dragons.
You know what I say BAD stands for? Bitching about Dungeons and Dragons.
Bitching about, there you go. But here, this is where it's crazy to me when people give it attention.
His parents' marriage was troubled, and both Patricia and her husband were having extramarital affairs. Bink ended his life using a pistol that belonged to his mother, and he did so on the front porch, in what appeared to be a deliberate attempt to shock and horrify his parents when they returned home. In 1990, Patricia Pulling stepped down as the head of BAD, and the group faded into obscurity. In March of 1992,
the Chicago Sun-Times in 1987 had this to say about BAD as an organization and their mission goals. They say between the violent nature of the game and the steadily increasing violent behavior of its players is why BAD is doing this. To combat this, Dungeons & Dragons, these well-meaning individuals want the game outright banned. BAD launched an extensive campaign that targeted the mainstream Christian audience across America, and BAD's biggest victory was getting on 60 Minutes.
You know what would have been amazing? If TSR sued BAD for using Dungeons & Dragons in their name?
Yeah, that's funny. That would have been, but God.
The real
No,
world
the bad press. I know.
The real world consequences of this was Daddy couldn't get level 4 because Mommy was scared of all the talk and the press of this shit, and I just wanted level 4 advanced D&D stuff, and they're like, "Oh no, this is we don't know what it is, but the churches are screaming about it." So there was this sort of like cascade effect that affected everyone, even if your parents weren't Jesus freaks.
Yeah. Apparently the pistol wasn't unlocked. It only took a roll of 2 to open. Like, whose fault is it that the pistol was so also readily accessible to the kid?
Exactly. Yes. And from what we hear is that both of the parents were actually having affairs. The kids knew about it. The kids were hurt by it. And he really tried to do this to hurt his parents. But that doesn't seem to be what her focus is. Her focus is on there was a game. There was a game that did this, not me.
Well, yeah.
But here's what's crazy is she gets widespread credibility by going on 60 Minutes. Now I understand this was a different time in which going on 60 Minutes a day doesn't mean shit. Back then, it's what was trusted. It was trusted news. And
it's like if she went on Rogan today.
I mean, it's crazy, but let's watch a little bit of this and then we'll finish up.
D&D, and it's become popular with children anywhere from grammar school on up. Not so with a lot of adults who think it's been connected to a number of suicides and murders. The idea of the game, which is played by highly imaginative and intelligent kids, is to assume the role of one of the characters. One game can go on for weeks or even months. The problem seems to be that some kids take it more seriously than others, take it a step further, playing a character who brings them the power in a game they couldn't possibly get in real life.
Now, we can tell that that's directly from the first case that we heard about, Egbert, and the Mazes and Monsters novel, because that's what it focused on. It was trying to paint the typical user of Dungeons and Dragons as someone who was easily manipulated and, didn't have mental strength to avoid having their mind taken control of by this character and losing grip with reality. And this is being reported by Ed Bradley, a trusted news source.
About 2 months ago, a green eyeball was seen up in the sky. This eyeball was so big it blotted out the sun, okay?
These young people are playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's an enormously complicated game in which each player chooses an imaginary character he'll assume. There are dwarfs, knights and thieves, gods and devils, magic and spells. It's a journey into a land of fantasy through complicated mazes where you use your wits to kill your enemies before they kill you, all in a quest for wealth and power.
Now, let me ask you, is that an adequate description of the game from two people who are experienced with it?
I don't know, but I just had the idea that you play Dungeons and Dragons, but you can only play as Whack Pack characters. That would be amazing. So like the Whack Pack team going on a mission.
I would play that.
Coming this weekend to Gummy Chainsaw's merchandise store is Dungeons and Dabblers t-shirts.
That would be funny.
I'm serious.
It was an apt description. I mean,
I think so too.
It's an imagination game. That's the thing that it's a whole new section of kind of games. You're used to chess and checkers, then you get like Sorry and Monopoly, and then this is just a whole new category where the whole game is imagination based, and that's what parents couldn't get their fucking head around.
Oh, Luigi, I know how I could describe it. Okay, so let's say you're playing Monopoly, right? And you're the shoe. Luigi, you are the shoe, and you're trying to make it happen in this city, and you're buying property, and you're selling property, and you're charging rent. You want to be the best shoe you can be.
You're just trying to kick it, man. You
No.
know?
I'm asking.
His description's actually great.
Okay, I'm asking if it's being described truthfully, or if he's putting some sort of spin on it to make it sound evil. But okay,
no. That's exactly what you do. It's just people are spinning it, but no, that's a pretty good description, to be honest with you. That what he said would be a good back of the box description, to be honest.
Cool.
The Dungeon Master orchestrates and referees the game, creating scenarios both complicated and terrifying. There is no board, only the dice.
I've never seen
Not a board
dice
game,
like
Luigi.
all different sides. What,
Six-sided.
what's the point in that? What's
They're for different things. The four-sided is used mainly for damage from a dagger and dart, and magic users hit points. Hit points is the damage that you can take before you die.
There are those who are fearful that the game in the hands of vulnerable kids could do harm.
What'd you say?
Of course, they found this guy. They didn't get the star quarterback who loves D&D and
with
is
the
just a
serial killer
well-rounded man.
glasses.
They got this fucking guy.
And there is evidence that seems to
My
support
parents
that
are
view.
having an affair.
Timothy Bryce, 21, shotgun suicide. The detective report noted D&D became a reality. Irving Bink Pulling, 16, an avid D&D player, a suicide. Daniel and
Small
Stephen
point.
Irwin,
Small point. No shotguns in Dungeons and Dragons. Just a small point. Just putting it out there. No firearms at all.
Unless you play Artificer, and then you.
I mean, if these guys think about if these
firearms.
If these guys were murdering themselves with a Morning Star, then you might have something bad. You know what I'm saying?
But what's crazy is if you could see what they're doing now, or by they I mean this news presentation, is that if there's any possible history of playing the game, it
Right,
is
they're
now
deleting it.
relied upon as the cause of their crime, as opposed to just with 5 million people playing a game now, as that number has risen. And this is now 5 years after the initial case that sparked the Satanic Panic and the obsession with Dungeons and Dragons with Egbert. That was in 1980. This is now 1985. 5 years have passed, and we have heard that their numbers increase significantly, and now 5 million people are playing this game. But anyone who commits a crime within 5 million people, Dungeons and Dragons is to blame.
Yeah, I think this was a missed opportunity if you wanted to murder someone in the mid-'80s, because you really had a shield. I murdered him, but we rolled dice together, so clearly, let me off.
You know, Luigi, if I could just real quick answer a question in chat from Rooster Sideburns. We said Dungeon Master is like the banker. You know, what I would say, that Dungeon Master provides the outline to the story. It's up to the players to write it. So, like, let's say I say something like, you walk into a cave and it's dimly lit, and 15 feet in front of you, you have an orc, and 25 feet to the right.
Then you
there's a
rape
goblin.
it.
Right. And then, so it's roll for initiative, where you all roll to see the fighting order. And
Who
then
will rape the orc first?
Yes. And then you go from there. So as a Dungeon Master, I'm providing you the outline, and you guys, the way you're playing is writing the story.
You don't want to rape the orc last. You don't want to be last.
Right.
They have a.
You ain't got to be first, but you don't want to be last.
No.
Which
1,000
ironically,
kids a year now
to
take-
Latanya when I go to Vegas. I ain't got to be first, but I refuse to be last.
Their lives. I think that to say that because that child played Dungeons and Dragons, who's to say that that child does not watch television, does not participate in high school sports, or what per se?
I have yet to see one bit of valid clinical evidence to show that this has been anything more than coincidental with a disturbed child.
If you found 12.
That's what's crazy. And again, we want to go back to that number, 5 million. I think it's safe to say that in a group of 5 million people, someone's going to commit a crime. And of those 5 million people who are playing this game, was it ever fair to simply say that because they had a shared interest, that it's to blame for the crime?
This is crazy PR too from them, because like, oh no, that's why I think they're kind of in on it. And they're okay with it, because it would be very easy to shoot this down. You take a statistic and shows, okay, yeah, look, this percentage of D&D players died by very nasty things, but look, they were also cat owners. So we can make the same assumption that cat owners die horrible deaths.
That's exactly 100% my point. That's exactly it. Is that they have started this campaign, and the numbers are saying that there is possibly what is the word? Correlation, but not causation. And but that still just didn't mean anything to these people. Like the logic and the reason was all there and verifiable and confirmable, but no, people just want to believe stupid shit because it's outside the bounds of reality, and reality is boring.
Yeah. And
also,
like,
can I go ahead? I'm sorry.
No, go for it, buddy. Go for it. Go. No,
also, we die. That's a very we don't talk about that enough. That we are living creatures walking around knowing our fate is certain. And that dictates a lot of reverse action that we take in our lives. So I think a lot of that has to do with why Christianity freaks out about things like this, because it really makes them, that little bubble, their little fairy tale, come into, some danger. If these other things exist.
Absolutely.
There's other magics. People believe in other things. Oh, no.
Yeah, and it is ripe for the grifting. What were you going to say, Gummy?
Yeah, and also to what you guys were saying, like what Casey was saying about it being like a PR thing, also from TSR side, is like it. For example, to get into like street talk. Let's say there's a certain, brand of Coke on the street that has like a yellow smiley face on it. One person dies from an overdose. Everyone's like, I gotta hit that shit because it's powerful. Now, when it kills 100 people, then there's a problem. But like when it first does that, on the streets, next thing, everyone's putting yellow smiley faces on their Coke and putting it out there. So I've heard. But yeah.
I mean, are you trying to tell us something here? It feels like oddly specific example.
Now, we're going to end here on talking about the people who were responsible for bringing this satanic panic against Dungeons and Dragons. And the first person we talked about was William Deere, who gave the interview. He was the private investigator about Egbert. He basically said a lie, did not have the facts, and the media ran with it.
We wouldn't have Forrest Gump, so fuck you.
Exactly. Well, I think Tom Hanks would have eventually come to it.
No, you can't change history like that. You need every step along the way. And without that, no bosom buddies. No bosom buddies.
Son of a bitch, you beat me
no
to
Forrest
it.
Gump.
And then we have Pat Pulling, who just will not let this die. And she seems to be a very tortured soul, a mourning mother who wants to blame them. Now we're about to be introduced to somebody else, and
numerous parents who say that the child's had no problems and such. Very conclusively, we go back to details of reports of classmates, of teachers, of friends and such, who very much kind of show that the youngster didn't fit in to school. He had outside problems and generally problems with his family.
We know that in the case of Dungeons and Dragons, upwards of 3 million kids play the game with no apparent serious consequence. That for them, it exercises the imagination and is just good fun. But there are those who are afraid that impressionable, vulnerable kids could be harmed by it. Dr. Thomas Radecki is a psychiatrist who teaches at the University of Illinois Medical School and who is chairman of the National Coalition on Television Violence. He has been studying the game for several years and says there are 28 deaths related to Dungeons and Dragons in the last 5 years.
And some of those it was...
That's where the 28 deaths came from. Dr. Radecki. I forget, it was Thomas Radecki. Thomas Radecki.
Clearly the decisive element, and other ones that were just a major element in the thinking of the people at the time they committed suicide.
He was bald,
or
but he
murder.
also liked Princess Leia's hair.
Is not coincidence, not when you have careful documentation, you have careful notes, you have eyewitnesses. For instance, one case, the parents saw their child summon Dungeons and Dragons demons.
This guy is saying on 60 Minutes that parents saw a child summon a demon from the game Dungeons and Dragons.
That's 12th level or above. I never got there. So
yeah, quite powerful. This was on 60 Minutes. Ed Bradley, respected, well-credentialed Mr. Ed Bradley, was interviewing this man who just said that parents witnessed their child summon a demon from the game.
Even a show called 60 Minutes has time to fill. You know, gotta kill some time here.
He's entertaining this.
Andy Rooney's drunk again. We need to fill some time.
He's dignifying this.
Now, are they saying that the parents Like, are you saying the parents said on 60 Minutes that the kid summoned a demon, or the parents saying the kid summoned a demon on 60 Minutes? There's two entirely different definitions of
Regardless, it's all lies. This guy's just lying.
All the women on 60 Minutes look like demons. I tell you that. Hey.
Room before he killed himself. Another case, the kid thought he had the ability to astral travel, coming from the Dungeons and Dragons game, that he could leave his body and come back, and he had rigged it up just according to the rule book so he could do it. He was surrounded by his materials and put a bullet in his head so he could leave his body, and he's never come back.
This is make-believe.
I like just leaving it right there from Gary Gygax saying, this is make-believe. You're fucking crazy.
Quit talking about Jesus like that. I mean, there are people that believe in it. Come on.
And then let's jump here real quick, and we will call it a night.
There's no link that this is, except perhaps in the minds of those people who are looking desperately for any other cause than perhaps their own failure as a parent for their child's death. And further, anything could be abused. Are we going to try to go around and say, this chair could be used by a violent person to strike another person there?
I feel like his analogy is very good. I feel like it's a great analogy. He's saying that if you're going to find a link, make it a scientific link that's actually based in some sort of logic and some sort of analysis, instead of just simply seeing a connection and blaming the connection. He said, a chair. If we're all using chairs, the chair could be used as a weapon.
What a devil worshiper would say.
Exactly.
What if the chair is a mimic?
I don't know these words.
I know. That was for Casey. More than anything, I'll play to him on that one.
Yeah. Or it could be a spell where if we touch you with the chair, we take all your power. You never know what things are. Except I don't think this was the greatest PR guy they could have put out. He's you put out a lady who's like, no, we love it, with a little cross. Learn from what Trump does in that room with the reporters. Get yourself a little blonde lady with a Jesus cross and just say, no, we don't. None of that happens here. We love fantasy.
You got to take that, say dice don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah.
And swords.
Yes.
Therefore, it should have a warning label on it saying, caution, this can be used to assault you with.
We would like an impartial inquiry by the Consumer Product Safety Commission to actually look into these deaths, to call the police, call the detectives forward.
That guy didn't make it through the AIDS pandemic. I'm just putting it out there.
He is calling for, this guy is calling for law enforcement to get involved to investigate these alleged 28 deaths, okay?
Bring forth the evidence, bring the parents in, look at this. Let's have an inquiry, an open public inquiry, and let's find out the truth.
Let's re-traumatize these parents. Yay!
Yeah.
Before we end the night, we have one last thing. This guy...
Dr. Thomas Radecki is a psychiatrist who teaches at the University of Illinois Medical School and who is chairman of the National Coalition on Television Violence.
Chairman of the National Coalition Against Television Violence.
Yeah,
and
I mentioned that before.
A psychiatrist and a professor.
Thomas Radecki had his medical license revoked as a result of allegations of inappropriate sexual activity with one of his female patients. In 2016, he was convicted and jailed for trading opioid addiction treatment drugs for sex.
It's my kind of doctor. Ain't got no money, a little handy.
This guy's no fun. You can't watch TV. You can't play games.
He apparently likes to role play a drug dealer. That's nice.
And that's it, folks. Everybody involved was an asshole. Everybody involved with trying to give some sort of attack or provide some sort of newsworthy attack against Dungeons and Dragons was a flawed individual. There is lying, there's corruption, there is trading opioid addiction medicine for sex. These are the people who were leading the cause.
I think what we learned is that one boy went to Michigan State and that doctor went to Illinois. Both terrible Big Ten schools. Go to Oregon. That's where the real stuff happens. Go Ducks.
Couldn't resist. Couldn't resist, could you?
I got one per show.
What I learned was if you can't kill yourself, try again. And apparently you'll get it to happen.
Eventually. All right.
Don't
Thank
do
you
this,
so much for being here. Thank you for educating me on Dungeons and Dragons. I assure you, I will never fucking play it.
You would love the
I'm getting you to
irony.
play.
The irony, really, Luigi, is you would love it because
I
it's
think you
very,
would too.
it's so analytical that it is like, this is how I should live real life.
Yeah,
the danger there is you start keeping track of your real life like you do in Dungeons and Dragons as an older person because it's really tempting.
Yeah, I legit think you would enjoy it. That's why I am going to run you through.
I would give it a try to say that I did, but
listen, it would be
Yeah.
your Caddy Z. You would get to experience all the gay sex, and your wife wouldn't be angry at you. It'd be fun.
You get your doodly dice.
You
And
know how to
don't
relate
listen to
it
what they say. There's so much rape. It's so much rape. It's so fun.
as long as it's like orc on orc rape.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what
Is there any other kind?
And you wait till they're dead. It's fun.
All right. Thank you for being here, everybody. Before we
Rape dead
go,
monsters, people. Thank you.
What would you like to plug, Mr. Casey Day?
Apparently orcs.
Yeah, nothing. I don't have anything to play. HackRideStudios.com. Blind Mike this Sunday. I'm not there. Have a good day.
Are you doing Catch 22 tonight?
Nope.
Oh, thought you were.
No, we're taking the night off. We weren't ready to come back. So next week, we're fully coming back.
All
Maybe.
right. And Gummy, what would you like to plug, sir?
Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, come back here and hang out with us. We are having our Carmageddon dance party. A lot of times when we do a lot of our snipes, everyone asks if they could have like the music to listen to. So I put together
No one asked that.
50 minutes. You'd be surprised.
We get a lot.
I
We
am
get
actually
asked a lot.
surprised that we do. So I put together all the songs in a row, the hits, a bunch of new songs.
Don't say.
And it's just gonna be us just chilling in chat with our avatars dancing. So it's just a dance party for about 50 minutes. So please come hang out and chill and chat.
It's going to be fun, and Gummy put a lot of work into it. It is going to be pretty cool. Yes, the Carmageddon dance party.
I put a lot of work into something so stupid, but it's fun.
That's our brand. That's what we do here. And
I would
yes.
put it out. I'll put it out there. I'll say it one time. I have a full recording studio, production studio. I would make a real Karmic song if he sent me vocals. Like enough of the AI stuff. Like become a real artist. Try it for once. See if you like it. No, but in our studio, we have one rule: no leg guitar. Thank you.
That's my only requirement.
Only penis guitar. You just pull it out and then you play guitar on it. That's how
We should get that to him. We should.
No,
we really should.
I retract the offer. All gingers are dead to me. Except Curtis.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for those who gave. You do not owe us anything, but we are very, very grateful for everything that we
Luigi,
get.
you have something to plug later tonight?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be on with Pat Dixon on Compound Media.
Yes,
tonight.
he's going to be on New York City Crime Report, censored.tv. Use promo code Dixon to get 20% off monthly or yearly subscriptions.
That's
I do this a
right.
lot with Pat. And I will be with Pat tomorrow for the audio version that he does for Apple Music. I'm not an Apple guy, so I don't know, Apple Podcast, whatever it's called, and Spotify. So yeah, he does an audio version on Saturdays, and I did it last week, and I'll be doing it again tomorrow. And Luigi's doing the video part tonight.
Awesome. Very cool.
Just watch your jaw around that guy. So that's all I know.
I haven't pissed him off yet.
Just kidding.
He's a great guy. We love him.
He played an Elliott Smith song for me once, and I appreciated it. You've never heard Heart and Soul until you hear Pat Dixon sing and play an Elliott Smith song. It's amazing.
I once got him to play Firestarter by The Prodigy on his piano. I was actually pretty impressed. He did a really great job.
He did My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me from the Ghetto Boys.
I remember
It
that.
was amazing.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And yes, please also go check out Edge Files from Monday night. We talked about the disappearance of Susan Cox Powell.
Sorry, one more thing.
Yep.
Okay, I'm finally back on a schedule for my stuff on my channel. So Sundays is going to be Chummy Game Saw, which is my horror game streaming. And then Saturdays, I'm going to be rotating every other Saturday. Starting tomorrow is my show called FAQ, which is called Fuck a Quarter, which is I play old arcade games with unlimited continues, But every time I use a continue, I put a quarter away. And at the end of the season, all that money goes to my local SPCA. So the quote unquote quarters I spend to play, I'll be donating. So that's going to be on Saturday, but every other Saturday. And then the other Saturdays between is a game, thing I call Dummy Game Saw, where I play simulator games for jobs I've never had. So I'll be fucking up shit like food preparation, being an auto mechanic and stuff like that. So just all gaming stuff.
Awesome. I'm going to have to join you on that.
Of course.
I'm going to smoke some weed and sit on a couch.
Yeah. You got to do a Power Wash Simulator, Luigi.
Holy shit.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week, where the topic is going to be part 3 of the Satanic Panic, heavy metal music.
Can't see my tongue, but I'm doing the tongue flick.
Yeah, Satan.
All right.
That's right, it sucks.